Yeah. Can you show me which document you're talking about? Oh. Oh. I thought so too, that's what I was told. Old business, resolution amending the rescinding the reimbursement fine. That's different too, because it's not, we're just changing the reimbursement fine. Look at you fancy, beautiful. I love your suit.
Thank you. Hi.
Does your suit great?
I know, I'm like, I have to rest up a bit. First time chairing the full council. Hopefully we're in and out.
Question, I don't know if you might know this.
Hello.
And it's,
Acting president, I guess, I suppose. Do we have quorum? Is everyone, can you grab Gregory, please? I don't know why the SharePoint is not working.
How are you, Counselor? Good. Honestly, we should be. This
should
is
be
a short
good.
agenda. Like,
Yeah.
If you get out of here by now, then we're gonna drink.
I think we should. I think we should.
I do too.
What was that? Well, I don't have quorum. Do we have quorum now? I don't have quorum, so, all
Five, no, you ain't quorum, go.
right.
Llegó porque lloraba.
Good evening and welcome to the full council meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 16th, and it is currently 7:06 in the evening. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the 2022 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting is hybrid, allowing participation both in person and in the council chamber, in person in the council chamber, and also remotely via Zoom, our Facebook page, and YouTube page. Clerk, can you do the roll call, please?
Councilor Levy is noted as absent. Councilor LaPlante.
Present.
Councilor Luzon.
Present.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Present.
Councilor Santiago.
Present.
Councilor Marmol.
Present.
Councilor Reyes, noted as absent. Council Vice President Infante.
Present.
And Council President Rodriguez is noted as absent.
Please join me in a moment of silence. And now please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, now on to public participation. Our first public participation is Mr. Molly. Name and address for the record, please.
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. We demand the best contract for our wonderful Lawrence Police Superior Officers Union. Lawrence Police, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Bonilla, doing excellent job to protect our citizens. Lawrence Police, one of the best police departments in the nation. We support Lawrence Police Officers Union, Superior Officers Union. Lawrence Police, this union of pride and honor, deserve the best contract and compensation. Million thanks to our DPW employees and leadership for making Lawrence a beautiful city. DPW leadership and employees deserve the best contract and the best pay compensation. Lawrence Inspection Department, thank you for excellent job. We support our Inspection Department Employees Union. We must hire more inspector. Lawrence teachers, you are number one. You are the most important reason for success of Lawrence Public School. We support Lawrence Teachers Union. Please bring food and donation every Wednesday to Buckley Garage to help our homeless. Lawrence always is strong. Lawrence always unite. We demand the best contract for our brave firefighters union with 3% COLA raise and hazard pay. We must impose a speed limit on Essex Street. Life of our citizens in danger crossing on Essex Street every day. We pray for the safety and protection of all police officers. We, the citizens, stand up in unity to demand the best contract for our Superior Officers Union. Lawrence Police, thank you for making Lawrence a safe city. Thank you for excellent job.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Abner Mercad. Merced. Good evening. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Abner Merced Argarin. I came here for the permit for Preach the Word of God.
Okay. Okay, we will discuss that. I believe that is under the ordinance. So once that item comes, you'll have the opportunity to speak on it if you wish.
All right, so all one set for today?
No, yeah, you're all set, for now at least, until
Okay.
later.
Okay.
Yeah,
Madam,
thank-
Madam Chair, may I ask the
Councilor
gentleman what number or what his number is, so when it does come up, we can accelerate it?
The number of the permit,
No, the number on the agenda, or what is it for?
we have a schedule for May, June, July, August, September, October, and November. Preaching the word, go around some parks around. June 15 is on the park across the street.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. Our next public participation speaker is Mr. former Councilor Rich Russell.
Good evening, councilors. I'm Richard Russell, 34 Cross Street. I hope that you all enjoyed the full Patriots' Day holiday yesterday. Despite what the Massachusetts legislature says, Patriots' Day is April 19th, the day 249 years ago that I lost my second cousin, 7 times removed, Jason Russell at Metonomy, now Arlington. He was one of 49 patriots who expressed their displeasure at the British as they headed back to Charlestown from getting their butt kicking at Lexington and Concord. On Friday, April 19th, I will think of what they gave us, their lives, so we could have what we used to have. Who on the 3rd floor is in charge of ignoring portions of public record requests? I make requests and I only get half of the answers. For instance, no one will give me the reason why they won't answer this one for me. Who authorized the investigation into Lawrence Police Chief Roy Vask, and how was AJD investigations chosen? Regarding the LRA, why didn't Mayor Rivera and Acting Mayor Vasquez initiate any actions allowing the LRA to make a land grab? Why is it imperative that these parcels of land be taken right now? The value of land is constantly going up, so no one is going to lose money, or will they? I am sorry to be so cynical, but I have seen politicians and land grabs from Boston, Cambridge, Somerville, Providence, New Haven, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Camden, New Jersey. Why can't the city just sit on this land for a few more years? Its value will only increase due to inflation. I used to try to intersperse humor into my comments, but lately I find no humor in the political scene anymore. However, rephrasing Mark Antony's speech from Julius Caesar, friends, Laurentians, Bay Staters, lend me your ears. I come to try to save Lawrence, not bury it. The evil that men do lives after them in their bank accounts. The good that the people try to do is often interred in their bones. It's a sad commentary about Lawrence, but as always, I thank you for the time.
Thank you. All 3 names have been submitted and will reflect the public records. Moving on to public hearings, can I get a motion to waive the preamble of all public hearings? So moved. Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Thank you. First public hearing is number 181-22, resolution establishing an appropriate fee structure for utility companies, brought to us by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario. Madam Clerk, can you please read the public notice for item 181-22?
The purpose of this hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by deleting the following new paragraph of Section 2.080.010 of the Municipal Code, administration fees and fees established. 17, for recording order granting locations of poles, piers, abutments, or conduits, alterations or transfers thereof, an increase in the number of wires and cables attached under the provisions of Sections 22 of Chapter 166 of the General Laws, $100 additional for each street or way included in such order, and adding the following new paragraphs to Section 2.080.010 of the Municipal Code, administrative fees and fees established. for recording orders granting locations of poles, piers, abutments, or conduits, alterations or transfers thereof, an increase in the number of wires and cable attachments under provisions of sections 22 of Chapter 166 of the general laws, the cost of publication in a newspaper of a general circulation as is required by law, plus $100 additional for each street or way included in such order. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to make any comments or statements on this matter? Okay. Public hearing is, seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Councilors, I will entertain a motion for this.
Motion to approve and wait the 30 days?
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor LaPlante.
For you to the author, what is the primary difference between our current law and what this will do?
Councilor Del Rosario.
What this will do is that it will prevent the city to pick up extra charges when it comes to publications, when it comes to, again, asking for a public hearing. They paying a flat rate of $100. Sometimes in the past, publications and all the fees that we pay to publicize it and prepare public hearing, it's way over $100. So I don't think it's fair for the city to be paying for a multi-million-dollar company extra money. So the changes that we're making is that whatever the cost is after the $100, they should be paying for it.
Councilor LaPlante.
So just so I'm clear, so they're going to have to pay for the cost plus $100. So if the cost is $300 for that, it's going to be $300 plus the $100. That's going to be the fee for them.
That's correct, Councilor.
And I just, this is a little different than what I heard, but I still may favor it. Did we get clearance from the city attorney that going beyond the cost of it is okay?
I haven't spoke with him, but I know this item has been in his agenda for years, and I think he actually was the one to prepare the language for it, wasn't he? I'm not accurate, but I know it's been up and down that route.
City Attorney. Hooten.
Hi, Tim Hooten, City Attorney. I actually did not prepare the language that it was $100 over at the time. The one that I looked at was that we would redeem all our costs. We were adding costs. I didn't know that there was $100. So no, I have not looked at that particular language.
It's so long ago you forget.
With all due respect, Counselor, you wrote the language.
The 100 plus?
Yeah, it was a year ago that you wrote the language, back in May.
I
May
apologize.
of '23, so that's why you're not remembering. But it was,
I remember the $100. I did not know that I thought it was a $100 fee we were charging.
it was a $100 fee traditionally, and now the new fee is the cost of publication plus the $100 fee, because the cost of publication is like $300. That's the.
Oh, that I do understand what you're saying. I apologize. No, putting it that way, I thought we were just adding an arbitrary $100 fee. We're keeping the $100 fee and adding the cost of the advertising. So no, yes. When you put it that way, I do remember it, and yes, I do approve it.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? The ayes have it. Okay, Madam Clerk, can you please read the public notice for all handicap parking, item 423-23, 482-23, and 128-24? Oh, and also, can you call the roll for Counselor Levy?
Counselor Levy?
Present.
Document, the purpose of the hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following subparagraphs to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicapped parking.
Madam Chair,
Doc-
I'd like to make a motion that we dispense with the preamble.
The-
Second.
We already did that. Yeah, that was the first thing we did.
You had stepped out of the room, and they did do that.
Yeah, like this.
Document number 423-23, Carlton Street, west side, from a point 50 feet south of Everett Street to a point 70 feet south of Everett Street. Document number 482-23, Morton Street, west side, from a point 100 feet north of Lowell Street to a point 120 feet north of Lowell Street. And document number 128-24, Utah Street, west side, from a point 260 feet south of Buswell Street to a point 280 feet south of Buswell Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Anyone from the public wishes to speak? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors, I will now entertain a motion for, and we're going to do this individually, for item 423-23, handicap parking at 86 Everett Street.
Motion to approve and wait the 30 days?
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any noes? The ayes have it. Can I have a motion for item 482-23, handicap parking at 10 Morton Street?
Motion to approve and wait the 30 days?
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor LaPlante. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? The ayes have it. All right, and now can I have a motion for item 128-24, handicap parking at 8048 Utah Street? I think that's Utah Street.
Motion to approve and wait the 30 days?
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Levy. Discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor Luzon.
So, the people that requested, to you, Madam Chair, apologies. So the people that requested this handicap parking are not here, none of them are here. So my question is, do we inform their neighbors? Because we are also asking to, not to, and I'm forgetting the term, but I mean, to waive the 30 days. So I'm concerned about that, waiving the 30 days. My question is, the neighbors get informed, because we're getting so many handicap parkings, and I'm getting requests left and right.
For handicap parking?
Yes, I'm concerned about so many handicap parkings requests.
Councilor Luzon, I do know, we do send the Lawrence Police Department to investigate the areas, and there's sometimes they come back to us and they don't recommend it, and I'm assuming the 3 handicap parkings that we have currently are in good standing, and there's enough space, and so the police department came back and said that it's okay to do so. So I don't think there will be any issues.
So we don't have a limit of handicap parkings per street, no.
No limit, not that I'm aware of.
So do we have a recommendation from Officer Cano?
It's in your packet. Yep, from the police department, yep. It's
You see
in,
it?
it's
You
in the
see it?
document.
We're looking.
All right. Are you all set, Counselor? Counselor Luzon?
Oh, yeah, can, 1 second, you give me 1 second?
I don't have it in my packet, but I do know we have it from him. I don't know why it's not here, I apologize.
Madam Chair, we don't have that in the package.
So do you want to wait?
I see it right here.
See it?
Yeah, it's in the packet. It's right here.
One,
Yeah, so we do have it, we need to move on. So if you would like, the recommendation is there by the police department, and they do recommend for us to move forward with these handicap parkings. Any other further questions or concerns from the council?
Through you, Vice Chair.
Council De Rosario.
Thank you. And also, this request waits so long, and most of the people that actually request this handicap parking, they actually need it. And by HIPAA law, if anybody knows the HIPAA law, we can now go and knock on the doors and let them know what's wrong with these people and why they need a handicap parking. And that's why it's the rush also for the 30 days, because those requests been sitting there for months. So if we can move on, we'll be great.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those, any noes? And the ayes have it. Clerk, can you please read the public notice to remove for handicap parking, parking signs for item numbers 35-24, 122-24, and 125-24?
The purpose of the hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by deleting the following subparagraphs of Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicap parking. Document number 35-24, Hampshire Street, east side from a point 20 feet southerly of the intersection of Elm Street to a point 40 feet southerly of the intersection of Elm Street. Document number 122-24, Platt Street, north side, from a point 113 feet west of Woodland Street to a point 133 feet west of Woodland Street. Document number 125-24, Falmouth Street, north side, from a point 292 feet easterly of the intersection of Garfield Street to a point 312 feet easterly of the intersection of Garfield Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Anyone from the public wishes to speak on any of these matters? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. At this point, councilors, I would entertain a motion for item 35-24, delete ordinance/remove handicap parking space at 233 Hampshire Street.
Motion to approve?
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Levy.
Discussion.
Councilor LaPlante.
Thank you. So through you, Madam Chair, I just want to make our colleagues through you aware that we're still waiting for the language for a public hearing on a possible creation of a handicap parking commission, which would deal with not only putting new handicap parking signs on, but also something like this, which is taking them off the books. Because as we're seeing, all of us have been here long enough now to see the percentages of everything they're going through. Every handicap parking that's come before us so far this year, and I would say the last few years, has been yes. And all the removals have been yes. There may be one or two, very, very low number. So anyway, I'm going to, through you, Madam Chair, I'm going to ask the city attorney to, if we can facilitate and accelerate bringing that before so that we can formulate that new commission. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those, anyone opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, I will now entertain a motion for item 122-24, the removal of a handicap parking sign at 5 Platt Street.
Motion to approve?
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario, is there a seconded by Councilor Reyes? Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. And the last one, for this block, item 125-24, the removal of a handicap parking sign at 15 Farmhouse Street.
Motion to approve?
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Madam Clerk, can you please read the public notice for street parking restrictions for item 395-23, 111-24, 112-24, and 113-24?
The purpose of the hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by adding the following new paragraphs to Section 10.36.010 of the Municipal Code, no parking, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Document number 35-23, Bork Street, south side, from Beacon Street to end. Document number 111-24, Bennett Street, west side, from a point 117 feet south of Medford Street to a point 137 feet south of Medford Street. Document number 112-24, Farley Street, north side, from South Broadway to a point 45 feet west of South Broadway. Document number 11324 is Farley Street, south side from South Broadway to a point 45 feet west of South Broadway. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on any of these items? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors, I will now entertain a motion for item 395-23, one-side parking, Bork Street, on Bork Street.
Motion to approve?
Motion has been made by Councilor Levy, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. At this point, I will entertain a motion for item 111-24, no parking area 20 feet on Bennett Street, west side, near Medford Street.
Motion to approve?
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. And now a motion for 112-24, no parking Farley Street, north side at South Broadway.
Motion to approve?
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. And the last public hearing, item 113-24, no parking Farley Street, south side at South Broadway.
Motion to approve?
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. All right, moving on to committee reports. First one is Budget and Finance Committee. Vice Chair Marmo, we are ready when you are.
Madam Chair, so we have a
Councilor LaPlante.
department head here this evening that is here for only one matter, and this is probably going to be, I would imagine, a quick item. Could we do a Personnel Committee matter first to allow the department head who's already put in a full day so we can go home?
Moving to Personnel Committee, Councilor Levy, can you please report on behalf of the Personnel Committee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 46223 is the approval of the appointment of Franklin Espinosa to the Lawrence Planning Board. It was sent to the full council with favor recommendation, and I make it as a formal motion.
Motion has been made, seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Councilor LaPlante.
Discussion, just, I think it's important to hear a few words from the applicant about what he looks to do. It doesn't have to be long, but just a few words about what he's looking to accomplish on the planning board.
Right. My name is Franklin Espinosa. I live in 15 West Terra in Lawrence. So I apply for the planning board because I want to be part of the development Lawrence.
Where do you work now, Mr. Espinoza?
I'm self-employment because I'm...
I had a hard time finding your application, and that's why I'm asking that question.
Oh,
I'm
I give
struggling to look
the
for
last
it.
time I give you my resume, my property manager, and I'm Uber driving.
He does not work for the city, no.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments?
Question.
Councilor Santiago.
Have you ever served service for the city?
No.
Any other questions?
I have a comment. I'm so sorry to
Councilor
monopolize the
LaPlante.
conversation, Madam Chair. What I typically try to do when I have someone of yours, an individual who's looking to serve on either a zoning or a planning board, is I just want them to understand the issues regarding housing in the city and how impactful whenever we look for to increase housing, what the impacts are to our current residents and to our infrastructure and to our school systems and all the other ways that parking, for example, we just talked about parking and maybe resident parking, things are out of control in many places in our city. So I ask you to be very, of course, fair, but please understand through you, Madam Chair, that votes to try to increase more residences, especially in our neighborhoods, is causing a greater problems for many people who are currently living in our city.
All right,
Amen.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor Marmol.
Through you, Madam Chair, so under self-employed, you say property manager, for what, company or,
Not for myself. I have my properties.
okay, so it's your personal properties that you own, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Would you mind stating how many properties that would be, that you manage?
Yeah, true.
All right. At this point, I'm going to close so we can continue moving. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. Espinosa.
Thank you.
Thank you for serving the city of Lawrence. All right, going back to Budget and Finance, Vice Chair of the committee, Councilor Marmol, you have the floor.
Through you, Madam Chair, item number 15624, fiscal year 22 audit of financial statements by Powers and Sullivan. We have our CAFO, Mark Iannello, do we? Oh, okay. To speak on behalf of this item, which was voted in favor to full council as a committee report. I submit that as a form of a motion.
Motion has been made by Councilmember Marmol, seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? I'm opening discussion for
Sure.
you, Mr. Iannello.
I'm Mark Iannello, CAFO for the city. I'm just here to introduce Jim Powers, the principal of Powers and Sullivan, who will give a short report on the audits that, the city's audit for FY23. Jim?
Good evening. As Mark said, I'm Jim Powers from Powers and Sullivan, and here to just go over the audit report. Last week, I was here, we went over in detail, so I'm going to keep it short, but answer obviously any questions. See, the council over there was giving me the thumbs up for the short, so I know counting is very exciting, but I'll do my best. Just as an overview, the audit went extremely well last year, and it has for the last several years. The finance team here does a fantastic job. School the same. Anything that we ask for, we get. They do a good job as compliance not only with Massachusetts finance laws, but the federal government for all the funds that you receive through the federal government. There are 3 reports that we had talked about in detail last week. One was the schedule of federal awards. That's the compliance report on the city's expenditures relative to federal grants it receives, either through the state or directly from the federal government. Next one is the management letter. And the third one is the report on the financial statements. I will go over each one, and at the end or during it, depending on what the chair prefers, I can take questions as we go or take it at the end, however you decide. So,
Councilors, any questions or comments regarding the city's audit? Councilor LaPlante.
Sure, so if he's not going through the presentation, I guess I have a question, which is, I mean, for those of us who've been around, we see these things, and there's always ways to improve. So very simply, what is the one place in the entire audit that you found where the city could improve upon?
probably the tracking and collection with some policies and procedures on outstanding accounts receivables and credit balances. Meaning that although the city collects, I think last year there was about $82 million worth of real estate and personal property taxes, and you have water and sewer fees, et cetera. I think documenting the process when a receivables outstanding and hasn't been collected, to document that, and also to write off receivables, meaning that there's some receivables still on the books going back 15, 20 years, which, especially for a personal property tax, would be determined to be uncollectible, and would like to see the city clean up its books. In addition to that, there were hundreds of thousands of dollars of credit balances on people's receivables, meaning that somehow they're recorded in the ledgers as being overpaid. One or two things happen. Sometimes people overpay by mistake, especially when you're getting, quarterly, semi-annual bills. And the other thing is, could be a posting error, because mistakes do happen in the accounts as they go through. And so that's probably the biggest thing that we see.
as for the best things that they do, if you wanted to hear that as a,
They didn't ask that question. I just
But
want
I
to,
just- yeah.
I'm going to go back, I'm going to ask you that question later. I just want to make sure that Mr. Ryanello, you heard what he said, through you, Madam Chair. Are we taking the steps now to rectify this, so next year when we have the audits, that we're not going to hear that's the number one? Is there steps being taken to make improvements? Mr. Ryanello?
It's one of the management comments, or there's two management comments in the management letter. Our staff has been, our accountant and a comptroller and our treasurer has been getting together to reconcile those amounts. I think some of the overpayments that date back many, many years is related to when the system transferred from their legacy system into Munis for the Y2K. So some of those accounts date back to the 80s and 90s.
So let me ask you one question. If there was one sentence that you would say that reflects the audit, so we're dumbing it down to one sentence, how would you describe the city's financial posture in one sentence after this audit's been completed?
I believe the city is well managed, and the fund balances that remain from both the Mass Municipal Accounting System and for the generally accepted accounting practices is extraordinarily high and well managed.
Last question is that this council has several discussions regarding the LCAT. That's the Cable Access Television Channel. And we've been working with the state auditor, and the state auditor has said that this is really not within her bailiwick to go and audit a private organization. She audits government. In your work, was LCAT at all addressed, or is your place the same as the state auditor as far as looking at the LCAT books and the fiscal relationship between the city and LCAT?
We audit as part of that, the relationship, but we don't audit LCAT as part of that.
Any particular findings from the LCAT audit section?
No, we did not find anything that was significant relative to that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate it.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor Levy.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Well, if they don't audit the LCA, there cannot be any fine. So how you gonna, they will do any fines if they don't audit? That's the problem.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Through you, Vice Chair.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Through you, thank you. Through your audit, do you find the city being profitable, sustainable for the few years, the way we're going?
I'm sorry,
Is it being sustainable, like the money coming in, we're sustaining the whole audit? Are we in good shape financially?
you're in actually very good shape financially. One of the biggest things that's happened over the last couple of years to get you to, you've got over $95 million worth of fund balance, a significant free cash, was how the city elected to use the American Rescue Plan funds, which in effect, last couple of years has added to that fund balance. So on a go-forward basis, you're in a good position to make decisions that you can spend that money as you see fit and as the council wants to go through. So I think you're in pretty good shape relative to that.
Thank you, President.
Through you, Madam Chair.
Councilor Luzon.
So you're saying that the stability of the city financially is based on the free cash or the money that we receive from the federals? Is that what you're explaining right now?
Yeah, and so you already had a good fund balance beforehand, but you elected to, in effect, use the funds that you could do in compliance with the American Rescue Plan Act, where you use replacement revenue as they go through that, and the city determined that the best way to go about that is to use those funds to build up a surplus so you can look forward, at least from my standpoint, I don't make policy, is to go through and use those funds as you see fit going forward.
I just want to correct one thing. We kind of have already used them. That's why we were able to approve the Oliver School and the Leahy School without a debt override, because we had this 53.7 million worth of ARPA funds, which we were able to turn into free cash to support those two projects. So as Jim said, we do have a healthy free cash position, but we've targeted that towards, or already committed that towards those two new schools, because we're building two brand-new schools and a police station without a debt override, which is highly unusual in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
No, we did not audit anything that happened in fiscal year '24 relative to that. We're just at June 30th, '23. So I apologize for not knowing what you did subsequent to the audit, but
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we will now vote to accept this item as a committee report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes, any noes? And the ayes have it. Now we'll entertain a motion for this item. Yep.
Motion to approve and accept the audit?
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Councilor Marmo?
we good?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Through you, Madam Chair, item number 15724, appropriation transfer of $170,000 from salaries to litigation. We have our city attorney, Timothy Houghton, to speak on this matter. This was submitted to full council with a favorable recommendation. I submit that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a seconded by Councilor Reyes? Discussion? Any
Discussion.
Councilor LaPlante?
I didn't watch the Budget Committee meetings. What's our anticipated litigation schedule coming up? Can you speak a little, can you forecast a little bit?
By July of this year, we have the possibility of one, maybe two matters going to court, but that is about it. But would you understand that this transfer of funds is not just litigation? It's also mediation. We have to pay for the mediators. When we do a deposition, we have to pay for the person that does the deposition. We have to pay filing fees anytime we do that. So without this money, we would not be able to, if we have to file an answer. And also outside counsel, there's certain outside counsel that we use for personnel matters, and that we've anticipated what their fees will be for the rest of the year.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Council Marmo?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, document number 15824, appropriation transfer of $29,275 from retained revenue fund 3590 to airport repair and maintenance. We have our airport manager, Francisco Ureña, to speak on behalf of this item, which was submitted to full council with a favorable recommendation. I submit that as a form of a motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion. Any discussion?
It's a quick discussion.
Councilor LaPlante?
Thank you very much. So the obvious question is, if the airport board, I'm presuming, is in favor of this?
Yes,
the council
Councilor.
Supports
Yes.
this?
Yes, they are.
Thank you.
We actually, Councilor LaPlante, we actually had a board member speak on behalf of Mr. Urena because he couldn't make it. So, yes, they're definitely in favor.
Yes, Councilor President, Madam Chair, thank you. Yes, I did have a conflict last Thursday during the debate. I was at in North Andover at the Conservation Commission meeting, which was very thorough, and the timing of that meeting precluded me from being here, but the voting member of our board, Mr. Bill Collins, who manages our cameras here tonight, did speak very eloquently on the matter.
Okay, any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you,
Urena.
councilors.
Councilor Marmo?
Through you, Madam Chair, on item number 15924, extension of contract beyond 3 years, contract 7055, LHS Associates. We have our city clerk, Eileen Bernal, to speak on behalf of this item, which was submitted to full council with a favorable recommendation. I submit that as a form of a motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Council Marmo?
Through you, Madam Chair, on item number 16124, review and approval of annual application to HUD for a Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, in the estimated amount of $1,551,622, and home grant in the estimated amount of $944,075. We have our Manager of Financial and Administrative Services, Susan Fink, to speak on behalf of this item, which was submitted to full council with a favorable recommendation. I submit that as a form of a motion.
To order public hearing.
Oh, to order a public hearing on May 7th?
May 7th, yes. Motion, yep.
Second?
Motion's been made, seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion. Ms. Fink, is there anything that you would like to add? No? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it. Thank you so much. So we
Thank you,
will have a
Councilors.
public hearing on this. And the last item, Council Marmo?
Through you, Madam Chair, item number 16224, transfer funds of, could say it correctly, $1,874,639.49 from retained earnings to debt service and GLSD accounts. We have our Water and Sewer Commissioner, Mr. William Hale, to speak on behalf of this item, which was submitted to full council with a favorable recommendation. I submit that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Hello.
Hi, I'm Dan Leahy. I'm the Water and Sewer Supervisor. William Hale is not here, so I'm here representing him.
He did mention that during the Budget and
Okay.
Finance meeting. Thank you for being here. Any questions or comments? Councilor LaPlante.
I just want to say that it's my observation, through you, Madam Chair, that the Water Department is doing a very good job. I don't often say that, but I thought it's important that when I see a good job being done, that I comment on that. So please pass the word along to those folks in your department, that from what I'm seeing, you guys are doing pretty well. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Councilor Levy. No, you all set? Okay.
The only thing that I can say through you, Madam Chair, is that I know that that department is in a very good shape, and you were doing a very good job. Thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments? Nope. All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it. Thank you so much. All right, we do not have any Housing Committee reports. Ordinance Committee, Councilor LaPlante.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If there's no objection, I'd like to take a document that someone is here for already this evening, document 14224. May I take that out of order, Madam Chair?
Yes. We have to vote on it.
Document 14224, Preach the Word of God, various parks and locations between 5/11 and 24 and September 28th, was sent up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Councilor LaPlante.
Sure, sorry, from, this just in, 14524, Raining in the Valley, if there's no objection, Madam Chair, I'd like to take this one out of order, 14524. The Ordinance Committee voted with unanimous consent to send up document 145. $145.24 to the full council with favorable recommendation, and I'd like to make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it. Councilor LaPlante.
Thank you. I think now I can go to the very top, and that's document 0823. The Ordinance Committee met on this item, which is handicap parking at 4 Bennington Street, Apartment 1, and made a unanimous recommendation that this document be withdrawn. Make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it.
Document 8223, the Ordinance Committee met on this item, which is no parking sign at 15 minutes at 104 Bennington Street. Send this up with a recommendation to withdraw. Make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Councilor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
Document 19423, the ordinance committee met on this. This is a hawkers and peddlers license, heavy hitters marketing. We'll send this up to the full council with a recommendation to withdraw. Make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Counselor DePlante.
Thank you. 20623, ordinance committee met. This is a four-way stop on South Broadway and Farley Street. This will send up to the full council with a recommendation to withdraw. Make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
Document 2624, modification of ordinance 2.04.081, a temporary appointments restricting the usage to one instance per candidate. This was sent up to the full council with a recommendation to withdraw. Make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
Document 2724, the ordinance committee met and sent this one up, which is Lowell Street, a section to be designated police department parking, to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing and make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
2924, the ordinance committee met on this item, which is the old gold and secondhand dealer license for 333 Essex Street. Send this up to the full to the full council with a recommendation to approve. Make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? All those seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
Document 12624, the ordinance committee met on this item, which is the modification of the Administrative Code Section 4, subsection 12.1. Send this up to the full council with a recommendation to order a public hearing. Make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made, seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
13024, the ordinance committee met on this, which is handicap parking at 356 South Union Street during the hours that the meters are not in effect. And this was sent up to the full council with a recommendation to withdraw. Make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
Document 13124, this is the ordinance committee met to deal with handicap parking at 279 Lawrence Street, Apartment 1. This was sent up to the full council with a recommendation to withdraw. Make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
Madam Chair, number 14324, the ordinance committee met and sent this item, which is a temporary public art installations at the Spigot River Greenway. Sent this up to the full council with that as a committee report, and make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, seconded by Counselor Reyes. Discussion?
So,
Counselor DePlante.
Madam Chair, so the proponents of this wanted an opportunity to speak to the full council. And so the committee decided to send it up to the full council so that they can give us either a presentation or some information regarding what it is that they're looking to do. The only reason why we're doing it here this evening is because they were not prepared to do this at the ordinance committee meeting, and the committee thought if they brought them up this evening that they can bring us up to speed. Through you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. You guys have the floor. Name and address for the record, please.
Can you say that one more time?
Name and address for the record, please. Just your name and address.
Oh, okay. My name is Zan Argueta, and my address is 70 Newberry Street. You can start?
Yep. Go ahead.
My name is Zan Argueta, and these are my partners. Daniela, you introduce yourself. And you said?
I'm Jose. I'm a youth facilitator at iLearn America.
Yeah, and I'm the artist in residence at iLearn America, as well as the youth facilitator. This is our student leader, Daniela, and I'm also on the board of Elevated Thought. Next. Our partners are iLearn America, Lawrence Public Schools, La House, Elevated Thought, and our additional partners are Groundwork Lawrence, La Federación Hispana de Comerciantes, Essex County Community Foundation, and El Taller. Compartimos is the title of our public art installation. It is an immigrant youth story trail that features a series of public art installations at Immigrant Place Park and in Campagnon Park. And we would like to update our permit application to no longer include O'Neill Park. And on the Greenway and the Immigrant Place Park, we will install marine plywood candle murals to the dock fence. Also write excerpts of stories by local immigrant youth using high-grade chalk to the path.
Through you, Madam
Excuse me for one second.
Chair, I
Councilor
need
Luzon.
to leave.
Councilor Luzon will be recusing herself due to a conflict of interest.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can continue.
In Campagnon Park and Immigrant Place Park, we are hoping to rig a rope between 6 to 8 pairs of trees in order to hang vinyl banners featuring portraits and stories by youth storytellers from Lawrence Public Schools, as well as mini candle murals by Phoenix Academy students, using yard sign materials. And the purpose of this project is to uplift and empower youth voices, stories, and artwork. Daniela?
Here we have some reference of our project and the Greenway Dock murals.
That's the example of how it will look.
And here we have some posters too.
These are the posters that we wish to hang up.
Continue.
Next.
Can you bring up the, thank you.
Yeah, we weren't sure if you had a slide presentation, so we went to came ready.
We do actually. But
Oh, wow, thank
we
you for
wouldn't
letting us
know.
know next time. ¿Tú lo puedes decir?
Teresa is gonna make copies.
Dile sobre eso. Okay, so we have the murals. These candle murals were made by Daniela and her team of students. They each have a question that they then later asked other students to respond to. They're in Spanish and in English. And we have some of those examples right there. And those are the ones that will be bolted onto the Greenway dock that is in the Immigrant Place Park. We also included...
we have some story examples that we're gonna be using for, and for example, one quote is, with new generations come new thoughts and opinions I want to encourage and protect. And these all come from students in Lawrence.
And next on our slides is our projects.
Madam Chair, can we either go into a 2-minute recess, or can we ask for some quiet in the room, please?
Well,
I'm hearing the presentation, Madam Chair.
I don't want to have someone kicked out over a baby, because it could be. So, continue.
Okay.
Thank you.
So next on our slide is our project sites. Like we just said, we would no longer like to have any of our art in the O'Neill Park. We instead would like to have the candle murals by the Lawrence Public School students and the story excerpts by the Elevated Thought Youth Apprentices in the Immigrant Place Park. And we would like to have the hanging vinyl posters of Lawrence Public School students and yard signs by Phoenix students in the Campagnon Park. And we would like to now instead ask for permission to use high-grade chalk to write the quotes and to make an event, a chalk event, at the rink that is located in Campagnon Park. It's a small rink where a lot of the kids and different ages come to play when it's sunny outside. And we would like to make not an event, just to have the students that we have worked with and to open it up to other students from the programs such as Phoenix Academy, Elevated Thoughts, and I Learn America. We would like those same students to be able to have the opportunity to write their excerpts on that circle in the Campagnon Park. That's an additional subject that we have not put onto the papers there, but we would like to add. And what else? We also included
we included letters of support from our partners such as Groundwork Lawrence, and they said, and then also from Enlace Academy.
And now known as Unidos Academy at Lawrence Public High School. And to let you know a little bit more about the fabrication and installation plans, All the wooden candle murals are 2 feet by 3 feet, and they are created by marine-grade plywood sealed with graffiti-proof sealant, and they will be sandwiched to the dock using nuts and bolts by our professional artists and residents who has prior experience, such as shown on the reference photos. And we also, the yard signs murals are approximately 1 feet by 2 feet, and they're sealed with graffiti-proof sealant. Also, they will be installed into the grass and will be taken out afterwards. The vinyl posters are 3 feet by 4 feet and are double-sided, English and Spanish, and they will be rigged between the trees using rope. And our artists in residence has experience with this as well. And all the story excerpts will be written with high-grade, environmentally friendly chalk that dissolves between 1 week to 3 weeks. So it'll be max 3 weeks there, and then it washes away on its own. And the installation, we would go up on the 18th of May and come down on August 17th. And based on the lifespan of similar projects by mentor artists, we do not anticipate any maintenance needs, but we will do monthly checks for damage and complete any repairs as arise. And we also expect delays for our vinyl posters that we have ordered, and we would like to install those on May 25th instead of May 18th. And the chalk will also be installed at a later date as well.
Thank you.
And that'll be it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Councilors, any questions or comments
You,
for
Madam Chair.
our Councilor Del Rosario?
Thank you guys for coming in at such a short notice. I know you guys you were trying to get them here, and we would try to propose a later day.
And I know students, there are other students here who have come from Lawrence High School, and with the public schools are on vacation, so these students are here on their own will.
So question that I have, I know you have a big agenda.
Yes.
Can we as councilors, if we ID any parks or anything that needs mural, can we contact you guys? I've been trying to get a mural on one of my parks in my district. Elevated Tots, I'm gonna say it publicly, is telling me that they're busy for a couple of years. I don't know how a nonprofit is busy for our city. When they need something, they come to a city, but it's a small thing. But I'm just, in general, if any of us need anything, I mean, we need art in our parks. We will provide the paints and stuff like that.
You will?
We need, yeah, I definitely will. I mean, or at least I know I will.
That's why we did the chalk, because we don't have the money.
I know
for
I
paint.
will in that park that I need it. I will provide whatever materials they need, because it's not a big mural there. So if eventually, what I'm asking is, if we can contact you guys, how your agenda is, can we add into your project some stuff to do? You can go take a look at the park, how the wall looks, and you can come up with your idea that it fit that park. So, but again, I'm gonna say it out loud. Elevator Tots kicked me out a couple of times, telling me that they're extremely busy. They didn't even take a look at the wall. You know, they didn't even take, let me take a look at the wall and see how big it is. They told me no, that we too busy or whatever. And I appreciate that, because they're doing other things on our city. But I'm still looking
Yes.
for art.
I'm a youth board member, the first, and I will talk to to Marquise, who is the head of Elevated Thoughts. If we could leave a contact information with somebody, we would appreciate that. And I know Elevated Thought has Elevated Spaces that they did an art installation, the first one last year, and so we're hoping to make that a bigger project for the city this coming summer as well.
I appreciate it. One more thing I want to ask you guys, I don't know if my colleagues are okay with that. Can you email us? I know you have it on your computer. Can you email all of us, or at least me, this package? Because it might get lost, but if we have it in our system, we might be able to see it and go through it.
If you go to, thank you, Councilor Del Rosario. If you search on Google, Lawrence City Council, Lawrence, Mass City Council, our page will come up, and all of our emails are on that page.
Okay, we will send you an email with this packet of information, as well as with more information from Elevated Thought.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor Levy.
Thank you. So for how long do you say that you would like to have this?
It'll be from, installation process will start the 18th, and we will take it down on the 17th, of August. So it'll just be for this summer.
So you're gonna do it on different places or on all the places at the same time?
So most of the art is already pre-made in spaces, in private spaces like the schools or the nonprofits. And we don't expect much time for the installation process because it's like the yard signs that go in the grass like this, and the vinyl posters which we have experience with, and we only have one person, our artist in residence, Ruth Henry, who will be doing the adhesion to the fence with the murals.
Yes, but this is my question. So the exhibition that you're going to do, okay, so you're going to have like at the Campanon Park. So you're going to have a specific day for the park, or you're going to use all the different places at the same time. So you're going to have exhibition on all of the parks or places at the same time.
We will do the installation all at the same time at the Immigrant Place Park and at the Campanon Park. We will do it as a team together. We will go from one park to the next park and evaluate the space. We also hope to get the space cleaned up before we do it because there are some safety hazards for youth. And but we hope not to have an event at the park. We would like to have the event at El Taller during the summer, and then have the group that comes to the event. We're going to walk them through the Campanon Park and then walk them to Immigrant Place Park so that they can see all the art and then come back.
And come back.
Mhm.
All right. And from what time to what time?
I don't have that information available, but I do believe that we have, in the permit process for special events, I believe we had a couple hours for the installation process.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further comments or questions? Councilor LaPlante.
You had a list of amendments that you wanted that were different than with the applications. Can you slowly go through each one of the changes that you have in the application?
Absolutely. So the first change is that we will no longer be asking for permission to put up anything at O'Neill Park. The second change will be that we will no longer be using the vinyl stickers. We had that as an option, and the hydrophobic paint, because we wanted to, first we wanted to have all the codes written on the road, on the sidewalk. But when you have vinyl stickers, it'll go away fast, and that could create pollution, such as littered vinyl stickers that could go into the river, so that's not a good option. That's why we changed it to the chalk, the high-grade chalk that will be at the Campanon Park, and also as well at the Immigrant Place Park.
That's the only changes you have?
Yes, and then the third one was that we are, sorry, thank you for, that we are changing the installation for the vinyl posters because we ordered them and there has been a delay, so they won't be ready for the 18th, but they'll be ready for the weekend following, the 25th.
Got it. No O'Neill, using vinyl stickers, and your vinyl posters are going to come later than you expected. Those are the three changes. Got it. Did you go to the Recreation Department
Yes.
before? And you're asking for two different locations, Immigrant Park and Campanon Common. Are those places free for you, not free, it's monetary, but available for you to utilize? Did you get the
Yes.
clearance on that?
Yes, we have clearance on it. We got a special paper, and I don't have it available right now, but I can email it to you promptly.
Your application form inside the packet is pretty thorough, but unfortunately, because the technology has been cut off on some of the things, so it's not, so I don't have a complete, I've got a truncated application form. There was one here that you were going to talk about the artwork, and then it got cut off. So what kind of artwork? I'm looking for it now, but here it is. You're looking to put featuring portraits of, and it got cut off. What portraits are you looking between 6 to 8 pairs of trees? Pears as in not apple or pears, but P-A-R-S.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. So it says, along the Greenway near Immigrant Place, we are hoping to write excerpts of stories by local immigrant youth by applying vinyl sticker letters and transparent hydrophobic hydrophobic paint to the path in Campagnon and, I guess, no longer O'Neill. We're hoping to rig a row between 6 to 8 pairs of trees in order to hang vinyl banners featuring portraits of...
And story excerpts by youth storytellers from Lawrence Public Schools. We are also hoping to install many candle murals by Phoenix Academy students created using yard sign materials. It's on page 3. Yep, on the what is.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Only thing as well, this is a second time that this organization has come before the council looking for this proposal. I remember this distinctly. There was some concerns the last time it came before the council. So I think this is your first time actually doing it. I see that you got Groundworks Lawrence on this, but one of the things that came to, at least to this council's attention, were the trees and utilizing the trees and whether or not the trees could take whatever you were going to place on them by weight or whatever. And I just want to know, have you had a chance to talk about your proposals with anybody who has jurisdiction over the trees, which is our DPW department? Has that conversation taken place?
No, we've only had conversations about cleanup. I live right next to Campagnon Park, and I have seen also the falling of trees. But the trees we are hoping to get are on the corner near Summer Street, Jackson Street, Haverhill Street, in that corner. And those trees, I've been alive for a very long time, and they've stayed up. Those trees been there the whole time. So.
Councilor, regardless what they put there, they're not coming down.
Counselor, continue.
But we will not, I can assure you, we will not be posting any of these posters on any of the trees that have been planted recently. Those are way too small and young, and we will be making sure that none of the, there's only a certain amount of trees in the Campagnon Park that are not going to be in the way of traffic, of pedestrian traffic. So we will only be expecting to hang up a certain amount.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just my last comment. And so the picture that's inside here is a true representation of where we're going to see the artwork,
yes,
roughly speaking. I think that this is worthy of us giving it a shot. My former colleague, Dan Rivera, used to say, let's give it a shot and see what happens. We can always take it down or remove it or not have them happen next year. So I'm going to use the Rivera credo, I think, on this. And let's say, let's go with it, and let's see how, we'll be watching, but please, I know you got some really good, strong, and conscientious backers. You mentioned a lot of names that I think most of us, I feel very comfortable because I think they're very good organizations that mean well for the city. So because of that, and you're teaming up with some good people, I'm willing for one vote to give this a shot and see how this works out. So thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to make sure that the motion, I'm going to be making a motion here shortly, will incorporate the changes that were made, the amendments that were listed.
Thank you for your presentation and for providing us a copy of your presentation. So 2 things, before we move on, don't forget to contact Councilor Del Rosario so you guys can see what can make something work in his park.
Muchas gracias.
And make sure to email us the presentation as well.
Sounds good.
All right, councilors, now we are voting to accept this item as a committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a
Councilor LaPlante.
motion that we approve this document with the following amendments to the proposal, which is that O'Neill Park is stricken from the application, that there be no, I don't know how important this is, but we'll have it as part of the motion, no vinyl stickers, and that, and again, I don't think this is critical, that the vinyl posters will be presented later, but I don't think that's that critical. I also want to keep in mind, that's the motion that we approve, and I want to comment one more thing. That's my motion, Madam Chair.
Motion has been made, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion.
So one thing as well, you're situated very close to Jackson Street and Haverhill Street. We are really dissuading people from bringing vehicles onto Campagnon Common. We spend millions of dollars to make that park look good, and I think as being good stewards of our park system, please respect that, and I think that you will. Do all the stuff from the street, or at least on the cement way, so you're not on the grass and doing some damage either on the grass or on the curb work. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes, any noes? And the ayes have it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias.
Councilor LaPlante?
Document number 144, your Housing Committee sent this document up, which is the Earth Day Citywide Cleanup, May 4th, 2024. Again, a Campagnon comment. Send that up to full council, favorable recommendation, make that in the form of a motion.
A motion has been made, properly seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Councilor LaPlante?
Document number 14624, the orders coming up, which is 3-on-3 basketball tournament on June 8th, 2024, Sclarito Park, up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
Document number 14724, the ordinance committee met for La Fiesta del Barrio for June 8th, 2024 at Spray Park at the Point. Send this up to the full council with a recommendation to approve and make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
So I'm going to have some help on this one. Document number 15024, the ordinance committee met and sent this document, which is... Thank you. On August 31st, 2024, a Campagnon comment to the full council with a favorable recommendation, make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion?
I have a question. The question is, how long and where can we go get the permit?
How long and where? The permit to use the park?
Yeah, it's to use the park.
So that would be the recreational, huh? Oh, Clark? Yeah.
What happens is, in a day or two, we will send all the votes from tonight up to the mayor's office, and he will sign them and send them back. So we probably won't see those till Monday.
Okay.
So I say do not go to recreation before Monday.
Okay.
And then we scan them and we send them out to each department. So the recreation department should have it by like early next week. But you get it from the recreation department, but don't go tomorrow because he won't have the backup paperwork yet.
We won't. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Thank you.
God bless. Document 15224, concerns regarding staffing. This 15224, concerns regarding staffing in the Veteran Services Office, as according to Chapter 2.124, was sent up to the full council as a committee report, and make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Councilor LaPlante? No discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
I'd like to make a motion that on this particular item, let me make the motion, I'll explain. The motion to send correspondence to the mayor encouraging the administration to fund at least one position within the Veteran Services Department. That's the motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion?
Discussion. So the quick story on this is that Mr. Collins, who is here with us, had two issues that he brought up. This is the first one. And the first one is that because of the workload at the Veteran Services Office, that there is a need to have additional personnel to complete the mission. And so the ordinance committee made a motion that we send to the administration approval or recommendation that funding be brought in the budget to fund a position. And then the committee also thought that we would send this up to the full council, and if the full council wants to mirror or to do the same thing, we could do it under the auspices of the council as opposed to just the committee. So my proposal, which was seconded, was to send a motion to the mayor requesting that he this administration add one more position to the Veteran Services offices, and I think it's the Assistant Director's position. I think it's what it is. So that is the motion, and that's the reason, that's what we're doing.
So you're looking to, make sure that I understand, you're looking for the full council to also send correspondence in addition to what the ordinance committee has already, okay. All right, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it.
15424, this is the creation of an ordinance regarding the council, on the council agenda regarding, no, wait a second. Concerns regarding the staffing of the Veterans Service Office. This is dealing with, this doesn't seem right.
We just did that one.
Document 15424, the creation of an ordinance regarding the council agenda, an automatic withdrawal of documents after 2 years. This was sent up to the full council for withdrawal. Make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Councilor Del Rosario.
Discussion real quick.
And Councilor LaPlante.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I think I'm going, please pardon me for speaking on behalf of my colleague from District C, but I do think there's going to be a potential rule change that I'm going to support, and that's going to come rather than having an ordinance to get to the same spot. I am supportive of what the district council is looking to do, and I will support that if it becomes a proposed rule change. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it.
16024, install one JO pole at number 2500 on Abbott Street near South Union Street. Send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing and make that in the form of a motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it.
Next document was separated into two parts. This is 163A24, a creation of a new subsection to ordinance 8.08.190, regulating the waste disposal containers for establishments that sell, prepare, or package food. This was sent up to the full council with a recommendation. We were looking for legal language, pending legal language from the city attorney. I don't know if that's been, do you send it?
Which item you want?
163.
Teresa sent a request. She sent a request. We haven't received anything back.
So we have not received that. Okay.
Anybody here from the school that was here? Oh, good, there was somebody here. So the motion here, I think, and we're in the middle of this, is that this was pending pending the language from the city attorney. At this point, I'm looking for a second, and if there, and we can have discussion if that's okay with the chair.
I'm sorry, I was talking, the clerk was informing me. What was the motion?
I made a motion that we approve for discussion purposes.
Okay, motion has been made, seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion, Councilor LaPlante.
Thank you. So the way the discussion took place in the ordinance committee was that, is that we wanted to make sure that there were some legal aspects of this particular proposal. I think the ordinance committee in general thought the proposal was good and looked upon it favorably, but we wanted to make sure that there were some elements of it regarding the placement of trash receptacles, requiring that within a business establishment, and we wanted to make sure that there were no legal conflicts with respect to that. And so a letter was sent to the city attorney requesting his opinion on whether that, and there may have been a second element too, but that was the big one that I can remember, that we get an opinion. And I'm not sensing that we've received that opinion from the city attorney. So that's where awkwardly we sit right now, because we have students here who did some work, and we don't have the legal opinion. So, Madam Chair, that's where we stand.
So I think, I don't see why it would hurt to move on, to order the public hearing, because by then, we should have a legal opinion, we can get a legal opinion on this. And then at the public hearing, we can make the final vote or decision on that, but we do have you guys here in front of us today. But I'm only one person, it depends on what the full council decides on how to move forward.
So my motion is to order, part of the motion, if it's unclear, was to order a public hearing.
Okay.
And I'm not sure I made that clear in the motion.
Okay.
The only concern that I have, Madam Chair, is,
Wait a second.
so we have two conflicting elements here. The council president wishes that we have this thing done before they leave school. We're already in April, and every time we miss a marker for a council meeting is a missed opportunity for them to get it before they complete their studies. That's one. The second thing is that if the city attorney comes back and thinks that this is an unfavorable, writes an opinion that would dissuade us from doing it, for maybe legal reasons, I would hate to spend the money on a legal advertisement that we have. So I'm in a bit of a conundrum as to how to go forward on this. The other element is that if we were to delay on this, part of the process for many of our residents when they come before us is not everything happens as quickly as we want it to before the city council. Sometimes things are delayed, and that's a reality that we all face. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to potentially not support this, but if this is a part of a process to learn how the sausage is made, how ordinances are created, oftentimes this is an important part. We don't get things as timely as we want, and sometimes things get pushed a week or two or a month, depending on schedules, timing, et cetera. So as I'm speaking more and more on it, I would love to hear what my colleagues seem to think on it, but I would think I would make a motion, not now, to table so we can get that opinion, but I'm eager to hear what others have to say.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor LaPlante.
So, based on no input, I'm going to make a motion to table this item, and part of the motion is to send to the city attorney that he send this to us in time for the next meeting, so there's no further delays on this, because I would love for you to be able to have this before we leave for summer break. So I'm making a motion to table with a letter to the city attorney.
Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Levy. Clerk, can you do a roll call?
It's on a motion to table here. Councilor Levy? Yes. Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmal?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
No.
Council President is noted as absent.
Okay, item 163. Councilor LaPlante.
This is part of the educational process. We're on this, but we're tonight. So we're going to city attorney to find us a letter. We've asked the city attorney more officially to send us in time for the next meeting. When is our next meeting, Madam Chair?
May 7th.
I would encourage you to come back on May 7th, and hopefully if we do anything, we will order a public hearing. We will not adopt it. There's one more step before final passage.
They had a section B to this, and I think that the ladies didn't realize that was the traffic one, and you had given them some recommendations, and so they had come up with that.
Yep, this was A, and B's not on our.
Table.
So I'm being advised through you, Madam Chair, thank you for letting me monopolize the conversation. That second element remains in the ordinance committee. That's what I'm told. So you're welcome to come back. If I look at the calendar, I can tell you when.
May 7th. When is the last day of school?
Around mid-June, I think it's June 15th.
Through you, Vice Chair.
Councilor Del Rosario.
The other item, which is a Part B on it, we table it, but we send it to the police station so they can do what they do on that street that you're looking for the traffic. So they will come back with a recommendation of what we can do in that area
They had
for
amended
traffic.
it, that's why. They had come up with a new plan and amended it for you.
Oh,
They would need to bring that to the ordinance committee. I'm sorry, Madam.
okay, no, not a problem. So, yeah, so probably next week sometimes if we have an item, so, right?
It looks like we'll have it next Tuesday, so you could tentatively schedule it for next Tuesday. We'll definitely find that out, and Teresa will probably let you know at the end of the or next week, if it's Tuesday. It's probably going to be Tuesday.
Okay, that's great. One last thing. You said that we can project it. Would that be best instead of having
Yes.
the diagram?
Yes,
Then we-
please.
we can get it.
Thank you. Councilors, I would like to ask a member of the prevailing side to please reconsider tabling this item because the last day of school is mid-June and seniors graduate the week of the 21st. And I was speaking with the clerk. She doesn't believe that is necessary to table. She does believe that we can continue, order the public hearing and still have the required documents that we need for the next meeting. So I am asking anyone who I voted against tabling, but someone from the prevailing side to please reconsider tabling this matter.
If that's the case, I will reconsider the vote.
So motion has been made by Councilor Reyes, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Roll call. There's no discussion on this, right? So, or is there a discussion on this? On this vote?
Well, you're not tabling anymore.
Okay, discussion?
You're making a motion to take it back off the table.
Yeah. Seeing none, roll call.
Councilor Reyes? Councilor Marmal? Take it off on table. Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor and Vice President Infante?
Yes.
And Council President is noted as absent.
Okay, the ayes have it. At this point now, I am looking for a motion to order a public hearing on item 163A-24.
I believe that's already on the floor, Madam
That is,
Chair.
okay, so the motion was made by Councilor LaPlante, I believe it was seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none? Should we do a roll? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it. Roll call.
This is the ordering of a public hearing. Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
No.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmal?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President is noted as absent. That motion carries.
Thank you. So the motion passed to order public hearing. So the public hearing will be next meeting, May 7th. So be prepared to present us your amazing presentation, and at that point, we will make a final decision on this matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The teacher's email address.
Oh, can we have, Teresa, can you get the teacher's email address, please? Yep. Okay, moving on. No Public Safety Committee report, no Committee of the Whole report, or old business. Item 76-24, resolution amending and receding the reimbursement requirement for the Creating a Thriving Lawrence Grant awardees, brought to us by Mayor DePena and his senior advisor. Councilors, I am looking to have a vote to take this out of the Budget and Finance Committee. Last time, we did not have a quorum to fully discuss this. I'm looking to discuss this now at the full council.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Councilor Marmal. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion. Clerk, can you do a roll call we need 6 votes for this.
This is a motion to pull from committee. Councilor Levy? Noted as absent. Councilor LaPlante?
No.
Councilor Luzon? Just to pull it from committee.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
No.
I'm like, Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmal?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes? Counselor Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez is noted as absent. It's the last 6 votes.
So,
So it's not pulled from committee.
okay. All right, so counselors, we will not be discussing this item tonight. I ask that the Budget and Finance members please be present because Counselor Luzon does have to recuse herself from this item, which was why we could not discuss this at the Budget and Finance Committee level. So thank you so much. Any items from the tables matters that anyone that would like to untable? Seeing none, new business. All right, bear with me here. Item 164-24, approval of taking at Water Street by eminent, I always have a hard time with this word, eminent domain of a temporary easement, TE-20 and public utility easement, PUE-4 for a term of 5 years. From our land use planner, Mr. McCarthy, that's going to go to the Housing Committee. Item 165-24, the approval of taking at Railroad Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement, TE-22 for a term of 5 years, brought to us by Mr. McCarthy, that's going to the Housing Committee. Item 166-24, approval of taking at Broadway by eminent domain of a temporary easement, TE-32 for a term of 5 years, and permanent easement, E-9, going to the Housing Committee. Item 167-24, approval of taking at 621 Exit Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement, TE-9 for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 168-24, approval of taking at 606 Canal Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement, TE-2 for a term of 5 years and a permanent easement, 2-C, going to the Housing Committee. Item 169-24, approval of taking at 598 Exit Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement, TE-8 for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 170-24, approval of taking at 113-415 Havel Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement, TE-16 for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 171-24, approval of taking at 608 Exit Street by eminent domain of 2 temporary easement, TE-6 and TE-7 for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 172-24, approval of taking at 468 Exit Street by eminent domain of 2 temporary easement, TE-1 and TE-33 for a term of 5 years, and public utility easement, PUE-1, going to the Housing Committee. Item 173-24, approval of taking at 140 West Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement, TE-56 for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 174-24, approval of taking at 139-143 Main Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement, TE-24 for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 175-24, approval of taking at 130/136 West Street by eminent domain of 2 temporary easements for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 176-24, approval of taking at 123 Main Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 177-24, approval of taking at 85A Manchester Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years and a permanent bike path easement, going to the Housing Committee. 178-24, approval of taking at 55 Railroad Street by an eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 179-24, approval of taking at 41 Railroad Street by eminent domain of 2 temporary easements for a term of 5 years and 1 permanent easement, going to the Housing Committee. Item 180-24, approval of taking at 138/142 West Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 181-24. 173, is that a typo? Okay. Okay. Approval of taking at 125 Main Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 182-24, approval of taking at 87 Manchester Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years and permanent easements, going to the Housing Committee. Item 183-24, approval of taking at 57-71 Railroad Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 184-24, approval of taking at 45 Railroad Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a 5-year term, going to Housing Committee. Item 185-24, approval of taking at 33-47 Morton Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 164-24, approval of taking at 32 West Street by eminent domain of 3 temporary easements for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 187-24, approval of taking at 26 Wendell Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 188-24, approval of taking at 20 Broadway Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 189-24, approval of taking at 10 Broadway by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 190-24, approval of taking at 6 Broadway by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years and a public utility easement, going to the Housing Committee. Item 191-24, approval of taking at 3 Broadway by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years and a permanent easement, going to the Housing Committee. Item 192-24, approval of taking at 1 Water Street by eminent domain of 2 temporary easements for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 193-24, approval of taking at 27 Winter Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 194-24, approval of taking at 25 Railroad Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, a permanent bike path easement, and a public utility easement, going to the Housing Committee. Item 195-24, approval of taking at 19 Winter Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 196-24, approval of taking at 8 South Broadway by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 197-24, approval of taking at 3-5 Water Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 198-24, approval of taking at 2 South Broadway by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to, the Housing Committee. Item 199-24, approval of taking at 0 Broadway by eminent domain of 2 temporary easements for a term of 5 years and a public utility easement, going to the Housing Committee. Item 200-24, approval of taking at 619 Exeter Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 201-24, approval of taking at South Canal Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 202-24, approval of taking at Parker Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 203-24, approval of taking at Exeter Street by eminent domain of a temporary easement for a term of 5 years, going to the Housing Committee. Item 204-24, payment of prior year invoice in the amount of $468.50, United Construction and Forestry, LLC, brought to us by the airport manager, going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 205-24, amendment to the non-union classification plan, add Assistant Commissioner of Health Code Services 2 grade is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 206-24, the authorization to expend grant funds in the amount of $42,552 for the Merrimack Valley Renewal Fund from the Attorney General's office is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 207-24, the authorization to expend donated funds in the amount of $5,000 from Hafner's It Kicks Foundation is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 208-24, authorization to expend grant funds in the amount of $22,000 for the Library Initiative for Teens and Tweens from the Boston Foundation is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 209-24, stop sign at Warren and Laurel Street to create a four-way stop is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 210-24, handicap parking at 343 South Broadway is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 211-24, stop sign at Newberry Street, corner of Elm Street is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 221-24, disclosure of conflict by city employee is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 213-24, application for hawkers and pelleters license is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 214-24, install underground conduit on Medford Street near Oxford Street from pole number 7173, reference number 308551008 is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 215-24, 15-minute parking at 271 Lawrence Street, Castillo Food Market is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 216-24, annual Community Resource Fair, September 7, 2024, at Campion Park is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 217-24, Family Day, June 22 of 2024, Gagnon Park is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 218-24, 3 days of worship, August 23rd, 24th, and 25th of this year at O'Neill Park is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 219-24, Hoops for Christ basketball tournament for May 25 at Old Canal Park basketball park, O'Connell basketball court is going to the Ordinance Committee. And the last one, item 220-24, confirmation of appointment of Carlos Matos as Director of Planning and Development will be going to the Personnel Committee, and this does have a 30-day time restriction. All right, with that being said, now committee meeting dates. Let's start off with housing.
Can we shoot for Wednesday, the 24th, 6 PM?
Wednesday, the 24th at 6 PM. Ordinance.
23rd, 7 PM.
Tuesday, 23rd at 7 PM. Personnel. Councilor Levy, would you like to schedule that? Personnel. Do we have a vice chair? Okay. Councilor Luzon.
Signing.
So again, a date for the Personnel Committee meeting. Councilor Luzon.
There, I thought you were asking me.
Okay. That's at 7. All right, personnel is Tuesday, the 23rd, the 23rd at 6 PM. Budget and Finance, Councilor Marmol.
Wednesday, the 24th at 7 PM.
Wednesday, the 24th at 7 PM for Budget and Finance. Huh? What? Oh, housing, you guys have, yeah, you guys have a lot, so.
But it's the same thing 40 times, it's really not. You have all those 40 items, but it's the same thing 40 times. I don't know if he's gonna.
Want me to switch budget and finance for 6 and housing at 7?
Sure. Yeah. Budget and finance at 6, housing at 7. Public safety, we have none. Committee of the whole, we have none. Okay, at this point, I will.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion has been made, seconded by Council Reyes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Thank you so much.
God bless. Ms. Jennifer, is that still?